Okay, everybody, this is lesson 2. So I hope you've all had a good time with lesson 1. Remember, those goals are just like so important to get right, that you're in complete alignment with your goals. That is so important for everything, and that no matter what it is that you want to do, that there isn't a zigzag whenever you think of them, that you have a straight alignment. Now, one of the things that Bob actually answered in one of his question and answer session today was, was it okay to work on 2 goals at the same time? And he said, well, you can't chase 2 things at the same time. You can't be in one place when you're looking for another. So it's about having an absolute, bringing order to your goals and making sure that you're going all in the same direction. I mean, they can be different manifestations, like maybe it's 2 different businesses, but when you get one thing done, there's the next order. Then when you get that thing done, there's the next order, so that there's actually just one direct order for your goals. And that's really, really important, because if you think if they're in 2 different places, well, this one's this one and this one's this one, then actually you are separating yourself. And it's like like if you were shining a light and you separated it, it's not going to have the same effect as to one entire focus. I mean, I actually have 4 goals, but they're all actually linked to each other. So it's like a story that evolves. But even though there's 3 different businesses coming into it with an end result of something else, it's like there's an order to it that I'm actually really happy with, because that was one thing that I was like, oh gosh, I've got 4 goals here, but because I've managed to link them into one another, this means this, this means this, this means this, then I've brought order to my mind. So I know exactly what the first thing that needs to happen will then set in motion everything else that needs to happen. So a good thing to do is to make sure that, like have a 5-year goal, have a 3-year goal, and a 1-year goal, and then bring that right back to 6 months, a month, or a week, and then a day. It depends on what it is that you want, because then you know that you're in alignment with the results that you want. Because, like say your 5-year goal is like, that's the absolute true pinnacle of where you want to be. And you come from that vibration. And when you come from that vibration, then that's where you've got to keep yourself there, and then move yourself into your goals and come from there every day. Because if you said, well, I want to be standing on stage speaking to thousands of people, yet for this week you can't even book a seminar or organize a webinar, you're not acting up to the role that you want. And you've got to act up. And here's the thing is about belief, is your belief is acting up to that belief. And if you can't act up to it, it means that you don't believe it. So that is just making sure that yes, I'm just changing something here actually on my screen view. There you go. Okay, so that's really, about goals. Make sure that when you have like, a win, no matter how small it is. And one of the things that I realized is that, whenever I thought that I wasn't being successful, and this will come through later on, is that, like anything that you do, you're working towards a goal, you're already successful. Because here's the thing, is that remember, if we were doing a journey from Manchester to London, you're not in London until you're in London. So you're doing the journey, you're on your way, which means you're successful because you've already started. There's so many people out there who haven't even set a goal, who have no clue and just go, well, I'll just see what happens. And then they don't think about their thoughts. And then goodness knows, the weeds, it's like your mind, and the weeds just grow. And before you know it, there's a little forest going on and nobody knows wherever they're actually going. So you're already successful if you're getting up every single morning. And one of the things of the Think and Grow Rich is persistence. If you keep doing it, persistence will win the day. And as I said, remember that you will not get to London until you're in London. You will not see London until you're in London. And that's one of the things to remember. Oh, nothing's happening. Is just to actually ask yourself, really, is nothing happening? So certainly with one of the things is that, I always had in my mind, results never lie. Results never lie. But what I love today about what Bob was actually saying in his question and answer was that the results do lie, because lots of things have changed underneath, where it looks like nothing's changed, but everything has changed. So just because you haven't seen the external manifestation, like I say, remember, when you're on a journey, you're not there till you're there, but actually you know you're on your way. Okay, and one of the laws is law of gestation. We do not know how long that time is for your particular goal. As long as you keep persistent and do the work and control every part of your thinking, then literally, sorry, there's lots of messages coming through. I must actually stop that happening, but I don't know how to do it. Remember, so today that's basically lesson 1, a wrap up. We're going to go through lesson 2, which you've done before, and then if there's any question and answers, just literally give me a shout on Messenger and I'll be able to help you answer. And remember, so your daily method of operation: do something every single day, learn something every day, take steps towards your goals every day, meditate every day. Really important to find that peace of mind is in all of this. So success, well, I've said this, actually must have realized this. So coming on, success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. And your progressive realization is the work that you do every day. So, people say persistence is boring, but it's not boring if you're in the spirit of it. It's so important. I actually did a lesson, didn't I, before about, being in the spirit of everything that you're doing. Be in the spirit. Yeah. So what that means is that, before you actually come to do something, is to think about what you're thinking about. And actually, I'm going to go into that further on in here. So remember as well, I've gone ahead of myself with these slides. Remember as well that the auto-suggestion chapter in Think and Grow Rich, that is such a powerful chapter. If you haven't done it, read it for 30 days. Read all of these for 30 days. And in fact, what I'll do as well is I will put the link to Earl Nightingale. Gail did a 40-minute review and summary of Think and Grow Rich. And I think that's the one that Bob actually listened to. He listened to it on a record and he played that in his car. And it is just so concise. 40 minutes. You can listen to that in the car every single day. You can listen to it twice a day. And that's what I've started to do as well. Bob said he listened to that every day. And that's what I'm going to listen to. Plus read then 1 chapter for the next month. That's going to be my year's work of actually, Think and Grow Rich and getting that in there. So lesson 2 is the knowing doing gap, and we all know about this, a big difference between what you know what to do and what you're actually doing. So why is there that gap? And that's where the paradigm is. That's where people go, yes, but I know because, well, if only this happened, well, when this happens, then I will. So they're all the excuses. Anything that comes after, I will, but because, etc., etc., they are all excuses, and your excuses are just your paradigms. Now, one of the things is just like to forget about our paradigms. We talk sometimes too much about them, and it's to concentrate on what we want, because your paradigms are always going to be there. There's always going to be something. Somebody said to me today at 40 that he was an expert and so he knew that he didn't need to go learning anymore. And I just said, well, listen, way to tell you, Bob's 85 and he would no longer call himself an expert. And I think that's just an absolutely wonderful place to be. He says he's constantly trying to do things. And what I realize as well about the knowing doing gap is actually that it's like the law of polarity, isn't it? Where knowing could be the negative side and the doing bit is the positive side. So there's a law of polarity going on there. Now, here's the thing. Spirit always manifests from the polar opposite. Let me say that again. Spirit always manifests from the polar opposite. So here's the thing. If you've set your goal because you've seen it, you dreamed it and it came to you and it's yours, and if you've seen it, you've been on that vibration, you've felt that vibration, you feel how good it is, and that means that you've been giving everything that you need to achieve it. Okay, it's all packaged up in that, otherwise you wouldn't have it. Now, what happens though? What do? We immediately go backwards, don't we, to the opposite. And we see that happening because we have to grow into that goal. But what we concentrate on and what we see is the polar opposite of that goal, because they both have to exist. If you've set your goal, the polar opposite has to exist of not your goal. Do you get it? That's the space of the growth that you're going to actually do. So, but what we do is we concentrate on this and we see this big difference as to where we've got to be to, and we're just like absolutely in blind panic and going, oh, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. But actually, if you're doing the work every day, you are growing every day. So where everything has changed, yet nothing on the outside looks it's changed. That is the law of gestation. Things will happen whenever they're ready to happen, whenever you are overflowing and have grown into the person that you need to be to have that goal. That's why it's really good to have a daily goal, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, something that you can measure that you're actually growing in, and you can start to see those tiny results before you see the big results. Just something to help you along the way, and to write them down, journal everything that you've actually got, and just the same as in the law of polarity, where whenever you create pictures, whenever you create a photograph, a live photograph, it's actually created from the negative into the positive. The two have to exist, okay? So your goal exists, which means your non-goal exists as well. So remember that about pictures, is that it's the negative into the positive. And in fact, that's what Pitbull said as well. Pitbull said, there's a song where he just goes, I create the negative into the positive. So if Pitbull says it, it must be absolutely true. The other thing is that, about this knowing, doing gap, there you go. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. So yeah, there's a lot of people know what to do, but do you ever find yourself saying, tomorrow, I can't be bothered today, I don't feel like it today? Who do you think said? Unless you've completely, it's understanding that difference between your paradigm talking and inspiration talking. If you're beating yourself up, that's not inspiration. That's your paradigm. Anything that's making you feel negative is your paradigm. It is certainly not inspiration. If there was a big growth and you wanted to do something, and even though you knew you were tired, but you still had this energy to do something, and it brought the idea in your head, brought you, fun and love, then go on and do it. But if you've been working really hard and then you go, well, I'll just take some time off here, and then you go, oh, but you want this goal. You want this goal, and yet you decide not to do something. To me, that would be your paradigm, kicking in, and that's where we beat ourselves up into we think that we have to work harder to get the results, and it's not. It's about being in a restful place, rather than, we can be in a restful place, but at the same time, full of energy and doing something, but we're at peace inside ourselves. We're like in balance. But if we're out of balance and out of whack, and we're actually being negative towards ourselves, and really that's, don't walk the path then. That's not a good time to walk the path. So what we learn in lesson 2 is how to turn a negative behavior into a positive behavior, a repeatable process to change any habit, and a strategy to convert negative habits into positive results. So just wondering what else I've said on that slide. One of the things is, we'll talk about, there's enormous difference between what most people know and what they do. And we know that that's the paradigm. The conscious mind is connected to the world around us through our senses. We can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. Now, to really, go on about this, is that what we've got, and when you realize this, is that when you look at other people, they don't know how to behave differently. It's almost like, well, actually it is. It's not their fault. It's like whenever you're walking down the street and you're unconsciously incompetent, and there's a hole in the street and you fall down the hole. But then if you walk down the street again, because you become consciously so incompetent, and you walk down the street and you fall down the hole again, well, that's your second learning, isn't it? Because you were consciously incompetent, you knew the hole was there. But here's the thing, most people don't actually get out of the unconsciously incompetent bit. And while they're in there, and while their paradigm is controlling, because remember, mental activity does not constitute thinking. Okay, so they're being run by their paradigm. And so if they're being run by the paradigm, it's like it's a human condition that the paradigm will literally blank out things that the senses pick up because it is not on the radar. Have you ever, like literally walked into a room and not seen somebody, come back out, go back in and go, oh my goodness, they're there, I didn't even see them? Or you're at the table and, the waitress comes over and clears your plate. And then you look down, you go, oh my God, I didn't even see the person clear my plate. You were completely unaware of certain things. There's been plenty of things in your life that you've not, seen or heard, but other people have. Why is that? So bear this in mind when you're looking at other people and you're going, why are they saying that? Why are they don't actually know. Their paradigm is in so much control. It is actually stopping them from seeing and hearing what you see and hear. Now you have come a long way, and you're at another level, and it's like that you can now look at those people, but you were that person before, and they can't help it. They actually can't help it. And so this is really what we've got to get into about getting into the spirit of things, is that it's, behind their behavior, what is the first cause? What is it they're trying to do? Are they so passionate about their job that they think this is the right way forward? So is it love that's coming forward? Whenever somebody's upset in a relationship and they get at you, what's behind it? In the spirit of them, they're looking for love, but their behavior is indicating something else. And this is where the disconnect can happen between the knowing doing gap. But it's not their fault. They don't know. They can't see and hear whatever you see and hear. Their paradigm is actually blocking it and hiding it from them, and they cannot see it. I just really, really wanted to labor on that because it's so important, and it's literally called the human condition, and it literally blocks out what it's not even aware of. Yeah, it will not see it. So that's why there really isn't a point in actually having an argument with anybody going, I'm right, you're both right. Based on your current point of view, where you are in your universe, you are the center of your universe, and they're the center of theirs. So you imagine two universes, you're seeing something completely, completely different. The subconscious mind is part of the mind that expresses whatever's impressed on it. For the purpose of this lesson, you could say that the subconscious mind is in control of the doing, and that's what it is. So, you can use, if we think back to the stick person that we've done before, you can, you've got the conscious mind infiltrating the subconscious mind. But if the conscious mind is that busy running off thinking here, there and everywhere, not really paying attention, and giving all those suggestions of I haven't got enough this, I haven't got enough that, and not really thinking properly, it's like weeds growing. Your subconscious mind is just doing what it's actually told to do. So if you're not paying attention, then it just literally does whatever. And most of the time, if your brain's in chaos, then your subconscious will just give you chaotic results. So if you don't remember back to the diagram where it's spiritual, intellectual, and physical, if we don't realize that we're working on all three planes, okay, so the spiritual side as well, which you can call the energy side, mind itself, is that if you don't realize that actually that you have that to ask the question and all the information is up there, then we're just relying on the small, literally, plane of the intellect and the physical to get all our results from. Now we know that that's already been created. It's already been created. It's like 10 seconds behind that with our conscious mind. So we need to go back up into the fact that we're spiritual beings, that we have a massive energy that's literally coming into us that is absolutely 100% pure, that hits our body, and then our paradigm does the thinking if we're not consciously aware of every single thought that comes in. We know that a paradigm is a multitude of habits, and a habit is an idea fixed in a person's subconscious mind, okay? So it's an idea. It's just ideas that have been said over and over and over again. Yeah? And so you know, one of the things here, it's got a common error, is trying to change results by changing behavior. When this happens, the change is generally temporary. What we're talking about here is if we do not go back to first cause. Okay, so before you do it, if you just change the behavior and just go, and I mean, sometimes we can do that if we really don't believe something. There's a talk, I can't remember her name, but it's a TED talk, and it's about, and Tony Robbins does it as well, about, you know, standing in the toilets for, you know, before you're going to do a presentation, and just standing there with your arms out like that, and you can change and affect what's going on in your body. But it is generally temporary, you know. So if this is just to help you get out, you know, you can change your behavior right here, right now. In fact, you can do that. And I imagine that you can get away with that for about 3 months. Yeah. But here's the thing. We need to, you know, behavior is secondary. We need to go back to first cause. What is it you were thinking before you went and did anything? So your behavior could be on point, but your first cause thought might be, oh my God, you know, this is never going to work. But then you carry out the behavior anyway. Okay. So if you carry out the behavior anyway, but you have a first cause of this isn't going to work, then what do you think is infiltrating the whole thread of the results after that? But what we get stuck on is the secondary causes, and we're that busy running around after the secondary cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, that actually we've missed the whole point. We need to go right back to first cause. So my first cause was, when I think of it about my, you know, your first cause literally could be your intention. If you think of your intention is intend into the end, is intention. So what are you thinking to into the end of what you want to do? And I had an absolute realization of why things were a little bit harder for me, was because I was saying, you know, I will do 100 connections today. I will send 50 messages. This is for my Arbonne business. And, you know, that's what's going to happen. Do you know what? Spot on, 100% successful, 17,000 connections in 18 months. Boom. I am so successful. What I should have been saying, if you think about it, what should, you know, first cause would be, is that my intend to the end, is that these people sign up and I'm able to serve them and help them grow a wonderful life full of time and money freedom. That would have been my first cause, not how many connections can I do in one day. Doesn't make any sense at all. Get it now? Absolutely get it. So, you know, this is where, you know what your knowing doing gaps are. And this is where that whenever you've set your daily goals and your weekly goals, what action do you need to take to make that happen? So if it is that you want to be a speaker, then you need to commit to doing a webinar. You need to commit to organizing a seminar. And then whenever I've said this to people and they've gone, well, I will do when, and I'm like, no, not when. Just get on and organize it and get everything done that you need to get done before it happens. That will shift your results so quickly. But it's no, I will organize the webinar when my book's finished. No, get the front cover out now. Your book's not finished, but get the front cover out. Tell everybody that it's finished. That'll soon kick you into gear and say that you're doing a launch on a certain date, and there you go. There's your seminar, and you've got something to work towards. Otherwise, you could be another year before this actually happens. You know, if you want to sign 2 people up in a week, but you're not actually taking the action in messaging enough people, you know, what are your results? Are they, you know, if you message 100 people, do you get 10 people responding? You know, and then if you talk to, you know, one of those people, but how many people do you need to talk to actually get a result? Well, then if it's, you know, well, I need to talk to 10 people. Well, then you need to message 1,000 people. You see, that's why by working back on your goal and your daily actions is that, you know what it is to be successful. And if you work back from your goal, you're going to get your daily actions and commit to doing them. Okay, so I'm going to take this one right in front of you all right now. And this is the I don't even know what date it is in August, the 22nd of August, I commit to being a regional vice president with Arbonne. And this is scaring me, absolutely scaring me that I'm doing this in front of you, but I commit to being regional vice president with Arbonne by Christmas. I will. So there you go. I nearly choked on that one, didn't I? So help me. I am going to do that. And that's in front of you all. So here we go with that one. Really good. Really good. Okay, so your worksheets we're doing, and it is so worthwhile going through this again because, you know, we do this every now and again. Wolfgang and I, we write out what we're going to what our days look like, exactly what our days look like between 9 and 7 o'clock, as to exactly, you know, what we're going to do in each bit. We have a lunch break. I have a meditation break. I have a reading time. I have it all literally set in. But then things take over and we sort of like diverse from it, and then we go, right, okay, what's my knowing doing gap again? You know, I know not to spend, you know, 10 minutes on Facebook, and if Wolfgang's watching this, you know, like an hour on Facebook scrolling through and seeing what's going on. So we know not to do that. So why are we doing it? We just fell into the habit again because we weren't paying attention. I really, really urge you to set your day and really organize every like half an hour exactly what you're doing. But you need to, you know, just even set in the reading time, the rest time as well. You know, that would have been something that I didn't do last year, was the literally, I just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked, and that doesn't help anybody at all, you know. So it literally is about, you know, planning everything in. Of course, different things happen, and that's absolutely fine, but, you know, you're not going to get it done anyway. Now, one of the things that I wrote down from the lesson today, from our training, and it's that we're never going to get it done. Now, Abraham Hicks always said that you're never going to get it done. You know, we're always going to feel dissatisfied, and that's okay as long as we're grateful. You see, what I was trying to do was trying to find comfort and satisfaction, but it was driving me crazy because, you know, it doesn't really matter every level that you get to, you just want to grow again. And then you think that, well, I'm not where I wanted to be because it was a 5-year goal. And I'm thinking, well, I should be there right now. But it's not. That's why whenever having these shorter goals just actually helps you. So the thing is that whenever, I've forgotten what I was going to say now, is that you're never going to get it done. So try to stop being dissatisfied. It's actually just being grateful, you know, grateful for where you are and grateful for all the blessings you've got. But knowing, because if you get satisfied and comfortable, you may not want to get out of that, and that doesn't help growth. It's the limitation that we have that actually can give us the biggest growth. And so the more uncomfortable we are, the bigger the growth we have. And whenever you get a success, you know, celebrate it, absolutely love it, you know, and give yourself that breather, but then get right back on it again. Because sometimes that's, you know, success is a paradigm in itself, because you sort of think you can float for a while when you get a success. And no, that's exactly the time that the paradigm will kick in again and think, well, just don't do it for a week. You'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. And even whenever you go on holiday, yes, we all need a break, but it's also to keep doing the learning, keep understanding, because your paradigm kicks right back in there and takes it. So write down everything, you know. Writing causes thinking, and this is also the same as that, you know, whenever you're reading a book, is that, you know, audiobooks are brilliant, but whenever you're reading or writing, it's the only thing that you can do at that time when you think of it. You can't read something and listen to something at the same time. Trust me, you can't. Try it. I have tried it because I'm trying to multitask and that doesn't work. You know, writing causes thinking. And so even whenever you're underlining, you know, a passage in your book, you know, that's causing you to think because you've just highlighted something to your brain. And that creates an image in your head. And that's the image that stirs the emotions. and it's the emotions that cause the action, and it's the action that set up the reaction. So writing out, like your non-productive actions into your productive actions, and writing it out and actually saying that this is what you're going to do. So the good thing to do at night time before you go to bed would be to literally write down 6 things that you want to achieve tomorrow. And here's the thing, when you've done the 6 things, just stop. If you do it, finish it early, that's wonderful. Give yourself a break. Yeah. And if you don't get it done because of whatever that happens, give yourself a break. Yeah, just give yourself a break and just add it into the tomorrow, and just go, well, the reason I didn't get this done was because I was faffing or I procrastinated. And if that was the reason, then just sort it out, and say that, that's it. It won't happen again. But if there was something else that came in and it was just like, well, I had to have that done, that was more important, that's fine. Just move it into the next day, and just make sure that's the first thing that you get done that day, so that it's actually out of your mind. So, a strategy to change your habits: read your new description every day and imagine yourself with your new behavior. So it could be, even what you're, how to look smart, but do you turn up smart every time whenever you're doing, whatever it is that you've got, and if you're going to be in front of people, are you always smart whenever you're in front of them, or do you think it doesn't really matter? Like for me, I'm Rita Davenport in 5 years' time. I mean, she's in her 80s. I don't want to be in my 80s in 5 years' time. I will only be 55. This Arbonne makeup is absolutely awesome, by the way. So, but I am Rita Davenport. So whenever when I get stuck in something, then actually I go to her and I think of, well, what would Rita do? And if you don't know who Rita Davenport is, she's just an absolutely brilliant motivational speaker. She was she was the president of Arbonne. She's an amazing network marketing woman, and I absolutely love her. I've seen her speak twice. And, I've met her in person. She's such a small, tiny, tiny person. And then when you put her on stage, wow, she is just amazing. She is so big on stage. Her personality, you can just see this much bigger woman on stage, and she's funny and she's cute and she's savvy. And yes, that is who I have decided. That's where when I'm 80, that's what I want to be doing, but I'm going to be doing it at 55. So can you see that I'm already even though I see Rita, it's me, and I've become her. And that's what it is that I'm moving towards. For a habit that you want to change, something specific. So say that you're not getting the results in, is that, repeat it every day for 30 days. Whatever that habit is, create the new habit of, I don't know, whatever habit it is that you want to change, make sure that you do the same thing for 30 days. Read the persistence chapters from Think and Grow Rich. And that's every day for 30 days. So I know that but basically, like I say, what I'm following is a system of, I'm listening to the shortened version from Earl Nightingale about Think and Grow Rich. And I'm doing that every day. And to be honest, I'm going to do that every day for a week, because I realized that after all the learning that I've done, that Think and Grow Rich is the Bible of all Bibles of personal development, that everything else that you were reading out there, it all links back to what's already been said. And this is a scientific review of what the most successful people have done. And it is worth its weight in absolute gold. And it is worth studying. If it's the only book you read, study Think and Grow Rich. So I think that's it. I'm just checking on my notes here. That's absolutely everything. Make sure that's right. Make sure that your productive actions is anything that links to your goal. Ask yourself, is doing this going to get me my goal? Is thinking this going to get me my goal? And if it's not, don't do it. It's of no use to you whatsoever. Absolutely no use to you whatsoever. And so that's it for tonight, guys. That's the, I've written here, recommended habits to adopt. Remember your daily method of operation. Do something every single day, and literally have your day organized, and do your 6 things at nighttime ready to do for the next day. And do this every single day. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and basically that's me today. Okay, so have a good day, and we'll see you next time for lesson 3, which is all about paradigms. See you then. Bye.